Back again with another review, and this is for Bobby Reynolds. He wanted me to talk about and review Sky High, 2005 Disney film. And it's funny because I'm like, I don't even know if I have the film. My brother has Disney Plus, so I was able to watch it via Disney Plus. And then later on, when I looked back over here at this shelf, and at the way bottom, I had the film. Yeah, so Sky High. I would say it was a decent movie. You know, I thought there was some fun stuff here with this movie. Now, the plot here, basically, with this film, you have these parents in the film played by Kurt Russell and Kelly Preston. They're these legendary heroes, Commander, Kurt Russell's character, and Jetstream, Kelly Preston's character. They're these big superheroes, that are loved by the public and what have you. And their young son Will, he carries huge expectations, going into high school, and his parents, believing that he has those superhero abilities. But when he gets to high school, there he discovers that he has basically no superpowers. You're either a superhero or a sidekick, so that he goes through high school, Sky High, which literally is in the sky. And I'll talk more about that. So like I said, he goes through high school, makes friends, and then one day he discovers that he has superpowers. He's getting stronger each day. Meanwhile, you got stuff at the high school going on because every student has, superpowers. Again, either you're labeled a sidekick or a super, hero. And basically, you have, the main character here, the character of Will. Again, he gains powers each day, and that's kind of the plot. I mean, it's a straightforward story here. Now, for me, with this film, okay, the cast here, Kurt Russell in the film, again, plays the dad of our main character, Will, this character of Commander, Kelly Preston, rest in peace, Kelly Preston. And, yeah, she was a good actress. I mean, whether it be this film, Twins, and it was sad to hear about her passing. And I thought they were good as the parents. And to me, they were the best parts of the film. And I'll get more into that here. But Kurt Russell and Kelly Preston, for what they had in the film, I thought they were good. The main guy, the character of Will, played by Michael, I'm going to try to pronounce this name, Michael Angarino. I believe this is the same guy that will later be in The Forbidden Kingdom. If I'm wrong, correct me on that. But for some reason, Hollywood was high on this guy around this time, being the main character here. And like I said, being in The Forbidden Kingdom with Jackie Chan and Jet Li. And here I thought he was just there. I mean, I didn't think the acting was the best, or I think if you would have got a different actor that conveyed a little bit more charisma, or I don't know. I was just very indifferent on the main lead here. Again, if there was other actors around this time you could have had. I mean, I can't think off the top of my head who else you could have had to play this part, but I thought the lead kid, he was just there. Like, I didn't hate him, but I didn't love him. He was just there for me. I just don't think he had the charisma or much of a personality, but that's just my take on that. You have this girl that he likes, sort of, played by Danielle Pennebaker, and her superpower is that she can grow plants and manifest, trees and plants and flowers, and I don't know if I really cared for that character, to be honest with you. You have Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the film, from the Thing prequel, so you got a little bit of a Thing connection here. And it's funny because Elizabeth Winstead, a little bit of a side note, she's actually, from my neck of the woods. But, her character in the film, she didn't bother me too much. I don't mind her as an actress. And you do have some fun appearances in the film. I will give the film that. You have Bruce Campbell as the character, I believe the character is Coach, the Coach Boomer character. I like some of the bits where, he goes through the students where he's trying to separate the superheroes from the sidekicks. And he's calling up people to the stage, here, show your abilities, your superpowers. And, whatever you can do, you either labeled a superhero or a sidekick. One girl turns into a guinea pig. One guy has the ability to melt. One guy, I guess, can turn into like some sort of, not really much the Thing, but, he turns into this like rock formation character. The super strong superhero made of rocks. And he's going through everybody, sidekick. And to me, that was some of the best bits of the film. And I'm like, that character, Coach Boomer, deserves his own movie. Give that character his own film, spin-off, what have you. Then I would watch that. Bruce Campbell, for what he has a little bit, he's not in the film a lot. Again, it's more of a glorified cameo. But he plays a fun character here. And I'm like, that character deserves a little bit more, meat to his role. You have Linda Carter as the principal, so a little bit of a nod to Wonder Woman. You have Dave Foley in here. And I believe Dave Foley, he was the voice of the main ant in A Bug's Life. And that's about all I know about Dave Foley. I was just indifferent on him here in the film. So, you get some good appearances on the side. But again, for me, when the main... Oh, and this is kind of getting to a nitpick of mine with the film. I understand. It's a kid's movie. It's about this high school that is literally in the sky. I mean, the bus ride there, like, he picks up the kids, this character, this bus driver, and then, before you know it, the bus takes off and goes into the sky, where you have this high school, and it's sitting up in the sky, because all the kids are superheroes, and they're going to this, magical high school, or what have you. But, I think for me, when your main character, really, for me, is just there. On top of that, Kurt Russell and Kelly Preston, they're really in the background here. I mean, they're in it for a little bit in the first act, and then they're back. They come back here a lot of in the third act. And there's a good chunk in the middle where I'm like, man, I could really use more Kurt Russell here, more Kelly Preston. Them two, which, to be fair, you do get some of them in the second act, like, the middle of the film, but there's just such a great chunk of the film where they're not there. And I get, it's a family film, it's about this high school, the main kid is going through, gaining abilities each and every day, where in the beginning he doesn't have the powers. Kurt Russell believing that, he's already, a superhero in his mind, but he doesn't want to tell his father, but as the film goes along, again, he gains his powers. So I get it's more about the main kid, it's about his rapport with his friends in the film, but, for me, I'm like, man, I could use more Kurt Russell here and more of Kelly Preston, them two together. And when you have a lead actor that really, for me, is just there, very indifferent performance, and that's what I take from the lead. And people might disagree, but that's just me here. I mean, you do get some fun, creative bits. Again, I mentioned the stuff with the Coach Boomer character. Really one of the fun parts of the film. The other, I mean, Some of the friends, I don't know. I didn't care tremendously about the other like high school characters here in the film. And okay, I mean, for a family film, it's mildly fun. Uh, it's almost like, and I thought about this, what Halloween Town, the Disney film, did for Halloween, does for that time of the year. This is kind of like that for superhero films. Even though I probably would put Halloween Town above this movie. I kind of wonder, like, what if some other studio had done this film? And again, I'm not saying it's a bad film. I don't want to give that impression here. But at the same time, there's moments I'm like, man, you could have really, maybe they could have gone a little bit further, or, maybe it's a little bit too safe, or I'm not saying this has to be, an American Pie version of a superhero family movie. I mean, there's no way they would do that. But, the main kid going through high school, you could have went a little bit more into that. And again, I'm not saying make it PG-13 or R-rated movie or comedy, but it's just one of those things. And I'm like, again, there's some fun stuff in there. The villains, I mean, I don't think they're the most memorable villains here. I don't know if to me, well, I'll just say it. I don't think the villains did anything for me. Some of the CGI is not the best. And this is 2005. And the budget, I forgot what the budget was. 80 some million. And I don't know how much it made when it came out. So there is a budget there, but some of the CG shots, and I'm like, it doesn't look the best. Especially with this guy right here. This rock formation. Kind of like The Thing, but not The Thing. I mean, there's some fun stuff in the third act, where the main kid has to save the day. Kurt Russell, where basically the villain turns everybody into babies, all his parents, the faculty. So you get some fun bits in the third act. But, and Mike Mitchell, this director, I don't know what else he's directed. But I would say, again, at the end of the day, Sky High, it's a decent little family movie. It's harmless, but I don't know if it's a film that, for me, I would ever go back and rewatch. Like, I much prefer other Kurt Russell movies, like Miracle. I would put that over this film. And again, Kurt Russell and Kelly Preston, they're some of the best parts of the movie, and it's kind of like, there's a great chunk in the middle where you could have used more of Kurt Russell and Kelly Preston. I think if you would have had a different lead actor, that would have brought more to the performance. Then there's some creativity here with the concept of, this high school in the sky, and, some decent comedy bits in there, some cool appearances. Again, it's a decent family film. It's a harmless movie. But I don't know, for me, if it's one that I would go back and rewatch often. But anyways, that's my review of Sky High. I hope I did a decent job, Bobby. But thank you again, Bobby Reynolds, for the request. And thank you guys for watching.